That scoring defense tied for 17th nationally. Jericho Sims to do the honors, tipping it off here. Going up against Kennedy. And Texas wins the tip. Coming out those retro throwback alternatives, whatever you want to call them, the cream unis for the Longhorns.
Yeah, the only difference is back in the day they were cream because I think they sat in the closet all summer and got little tins of yellow on them.
Courtney Ramey no good. 3 ball from the corner, and Kennedy with the initial rebound. Texas will need to get Ramey going, especially his shot. He has struggled with that to start the season. Matt Coleman is the guy that has made the Longhorns go. Backdoor cut there. A.J. Lawson is fouled. So early action here for McNeese as Ramey picks up foul number 1.
Well, you mentioned Ramey. Lawson is similar to Ramey in that he's a guy that needs to get it going, and he can do a lot of things on the floor, handle the ball, get other guys open. He can put it where it needs to be. They are waiting on a breakout game for Lawson, just like Ramey. I mean, Ramey had some good games early. He struggled, went up and down a little bit, went to Purdue and struggled. He needs to find a level of consistency.
There's a split at the line for A.J. Lawson. Coleman, the lead to Ramey, beautifully done. But that goes back to Coleman setting everything up. He's been the most consistent Longhorn this year.
Yeah, the most consistent and the best. I mean, you know what you're going to get from him night in and night out. And that was a one-man break. I think he's got to measure his success by how other guys play.
Good matchup here. Kennedy on Sims, and Kennedy wins round 1. Leads the team with 16.4 points per game, 9 rebounds. Febres from outside and connects for the 3 ball.
That's a good sign for Texas there. Febres has not had the kind of shooting form that he knows he can have. He's a guy who can knock it down and get hot. Really makes the defensive play.
And that is a McNeese turnover. Yeah, you go back to the game against Georgetown, and it really sums up the streaky nature of the outside shot for Febres. He went 3 of 12 from the field. All 12 of those attempts were 3-point shots.
Yeah, and he does. He's a guy that has to live and die by the 3. Doesn't put it on the floor a lot. But as good as Coleman has been, put a little bit on that, on Coleman, in that he's got to help Febres get good looks.
Essentially a dual point guard look with Ramey and Coleman. Four on the clock, and Sims throws it away. Turnover, Texas.
You see here early, McNeese is going to pressure Texas on the perimeter and try to keep the ball out of Coleman's hands so he can't make plays in the half court.
Excellent 3-point shooting team. The Cowboys at 42%. That's top 20, and this is their best there. Cookshausen, no good. And as Sims pulled down that rebound, he was fouled. Heath Schroyer, second-year head coach for the Cowboys. 10th season as a head coach overall with stops at UT Martin, Wyoming, and Portland State. This is somewhat of a transition year for him, considering they lost a lot, starting 3 new guys in the starting 5. And Shaka Smart, he's made some changes, especially with Yaklich coming over to coordinate his defense.
Both of these coaches do a great job with their programs and know exactly what they want from their guys.
While Texas just got bailed out, Ramey got into some trouble and threw an ill-advised pass that was swatted away by the Cowboys. However, it goes off McNeese.
Ramey, that's an example. He does a little bit, sometimes a little bit too much bully ball. He's a big, strong guard. Tends to get himself a little deeper than he needs to where he can make plays.
Now, this is big because Lawson has picked up foul number 2. And we're just in the early stages of this game.
And that's another example of how Lawson has struggled to find the rhythm that they expect. Again, he can be the third guy for this team. He's so explosive and do a number of things on the floor.
Get out, rejected by Kennedy. Sims gets it back. Ramey for three. Into the hands of Roydell Brown. Lawson behind the back. Rebound by Liddell. Here comes Ramey. And another rejection, this time from Johnson. Scramble, Coleman off the glass. Febres with the rebound. Liddell pulls the trigger from deep and not going away early for the Longhorns.
Well, and sometimes Texas gets in trouble when they fall in love with the three ball. You saw the early one by Ramey and then Liddell. You've got to get comfortable passing that ball and moving the defense and making them work a little bit.
Here's Ramey, the run out. Down goes Cookshausen, but it's a foul.
You'll see the help. Kennedy's showing that he's not going to just let you go around the basket and get easy looks. You got to be happy. If you mix McNeese early, excellent defense around the basket.
You have questions at all in terms of how Texas comes out, given it's been a long break? It was last Friday, the last time they played.
Well, really the only question is, how do you bounce back quickly from the holiday? I mean, even the fans and everybody just kind of taking your time. Obviously, it was a very important time of the year. But as a basketball team, you've got to remain focused on what your goal is. And Texas has done a good job, let's say, competing well against the teams they should compete well against this year. Years past, there's been an Achilles heel for them. They've done a good job this year protecting home court and playing the kind of basketball Texas expects to play. And a lot of that is because of Coleman.
Here's some pressure in the trap. McNeese gets out of it. Lawson, Coleman gets back. They try to lob it up to Kennedy. He recovers. Ham, some physical defense. Johnson outside, rattles out. Ham with the rebound.
Oh, did you see Ham push Kennedy off of that block?
Andrew Jones, six-man extraordinaire, fading and hitting. Second leading scorer, the only other Longhorn outside of Matt Coleman, averaging in double digits. Cowboys need a bucket. Lawson fighting inside, switches hands. He wanted a foul. We'll have to settle for the two-point bucket.
Did a nice job of leaving that floor open and no help coming. He can knock that shot down.
Scoring for the rebound is Liddell, but loses the rock. Cowboys are coming out playing a physical brand of ball. They want to work this into the paint. Case in point, Lawson, yes.
This is a little bit of an early breakout for Lawson. How about Coach Schroyer going with them, keeping them in the game in spite of the foul.
Little hesitation up and under. Good start for AJ1.
Nice finish there. Jones recognizing the early blocks and uses the rim for protection to get that up on the glass.
We expected to see McNeese come out, bomb the threes. They only have one outside attempt. Most of their work has been in the paint like this. Kennedy, though, can't handle it. And it will be Texas basketball. Longhorns up on McNeese. 11-7. Andrew Jones, good off the bench.
He knows this game can get out of hand pretty quickly. He can't get buckets. Look at the spacing there. They just opened the floor up, and Febres unable to hold the ground there with Lawson. And Lawson's game has plummeted like the stock market here of late. Here early, though, he's bouncing back against a very tough defensive Texas team.
Jones throws it away. Miscommunication there with Royce Ham. Seeing a couple of freshmen that just checked in the game for the Longhorns, and Donovan Williams and Kai Jones. Williams has had a rough stretch as of late. Jones really opened some eyes with the way he played up in New York City.
Oh, yeah, Jones has been really one of the big keys outside of Coleman this year. Williams has to play other parts of the game beyond just scoring the ball. Shaka's been quick to pull him out when he doesn't do what he's supposed to do defensively.
Tough defense there from Ham. And it's going to be Texas basketball.
Well, Texas likes to pressure, but they're allowing a lot of deep penetration. McNeese doing a great job pushing the envelope and trying to get to the basket.
So this one will go to McNeese. Looked like it went off him. The inbound to no one in particular. Now it's to the Longhorns. Williams eyes up the lob. Oh no! Kai Jones. Are you kidding me? Wow. He almost made a Jericho Sims-like throwdown.
Yeah, that's a glimpse of the future with this group here. That's one freshman to another.
Goodness.
Yeah, I tell you what I like, though. Regardless of where it was thrown, he was going to get it. You got to appreciate that effort. This is a critical juncture offensively for this Texas ball club with Coleman on the bench. This is Coach Smart showing some trust in his other guards, and this is where Ramey has to step up and control things on both ends of the floor. Their main floor leader in Coleman being out of the game.
So it ends up as a spectacular missed opportunity for Kai Jones as he missed both those free throws. The Cowboys throw that one out of bounds. Would you say, though, this is where Ramey feels more comfortable when he is controlling the basketball primarily?
Well, first, Ramey claims that it doesn't matter. He'll do whatever needs to be done to win games. But my guess is when it's only him on the floor, without Coleman, it's probably a little easier for him to make decisions because he is the guy.
Williams floating it. Ham is there. Nope, they're going to call this one off.
Whoa.
So basket interference on Royce Ham. What do you think, Lance?
That was in the cylinder. That was in the cylinder. I think if that was in Europe, that would be that's a rule that the NBA has talked a lot about. I bet in 5 years that'll be a basketball. That rule will get changed.
Washington tries to bounce it. And out of bounds, Texas will take over possession.
Washington's been very indecisive here early. He had the inbounds that he threw away. So Kennedy pointing up. He's got such long arms. You just want to force the defense to stop you and then put that up by the rim and let the big catch it.
6 turnovers early for the Cowboys. Kutzhausen gets it. And here we go. Lawson in transition. Takes the hop step. And the whistle.
Yeah, and we see 2 turnovers by Texas with Coleman on the bench. That won't last long. Shaka gets him right up to the scores table.
And Ramey picks up number 2, and he's pleading with Shaka. Keep me in. Keep me in.
Yeah, it's got to be frustrating, though, for Texas, and namely Ramey. Definitely want to take care of the ball. You don't have Coleman on the floor. Someone's got to step up and man the floor, man the chip.
So Ramey will stay in. Coleman comes in place of Andrew Jones. As Lawson hits his first attempt and makes this a 2-point game. Would you say Ramey is pressing a little bit to this point? I mean, the numbers, obviously for him, shooting 37% from the field. The outside shot at 13% hasn't been the type of start that I think any of us anticipated.
Well, I think what he's doing is living and dying too much by his three-point shooting.
Kai Jones.
Wow.
Got it.
Wow. And Jones, every time he plays, he does something special and gets a little better. I mean, as the game slows down for him, Texas is going to be in for a lot of fun having this guy on the floor.
Good defense by Jones as well. Williams cannot keep it in bounds. Here is that throwdown, man. They find some athletes here at the University of Texas.
Yeah, it's just such a luxury to have a guy that you can just throw it up to. I mean, this looks like a replay from
Jackson Hayes.
Before. Well, that too. Little Jackson Hayes action as well. Or Bamba for that.
Oh, yeah.
That matter.
Just one three-point attempt for the Cowboys. They've been feeding Kennedy. Good defense by Sims as he initially knocked it out of Kennedy's hands. Oh, Williams almost got away. Nearly traveled there. He's in trouble. And that is off the side of the backboard.
Yeah, he got stuck. There was really nowhere to go, and he wanted to use his length.
Texas with the lead 13-9 over McNeese.
What if I told you that this amazing
6 edge in the rebounding margin as well. Lansdale, 6 turnovers. This was a Texas team coming off a performance in which they only had 5 the last time out against Cal.
Well, the pressure, Texas hasn't handled it well. And,
Yeah, add that to the highlight reel. We're just going to tunk all day, Kai Jones.
Speaking of handling it well. Wow. You got to be happy about that. If you're Texas, they drew that play up. He did what you're supposed to do, execute and finish. Back to those turnovers.
Yep.
The main 2 guys, though, have 2 turnovers between them. As Lawson, one of the main 2 ball handlers, knocks down the 3.
Febres, no good on his response. And here comes Lawson to the corner. Johnson will slow it down. Washington with the drive, awkward finish. Coleman with the rebound, no. Truman Moore off the bench and trying to make the hustle play.
This was a out-of-bounds play. You've got to keep yourself between the ball and the man. Texas did a very good job of executing that.
Young man from the Bahamas, wrapped up his high school career playing in Florida and New Hampshire. Top-rated, one of the top-rated freshmen in this class, along with Will Baker, number 53 in the ESPN 100.
I'm going to tell you, one of the most impressive things about this young man, he really didn't play a lot early. He never got discouraged, stayed ready, had a nice showing in New York, and he's getting rewarded well by the coaching staff, namely Coach Smart. So good job, Kai, because young fellas, Lowell, they'll get discouraged and you can lose them early. He stayed engaged.
And this early part of the season has really been a proving ground, as it typically is, to see who deserves the minutes as you get closer to conference play.
Yeah, there's one thing, you draw it up going into the season, but you never know how things are going to pan out.
Coleman wide open. I've not seen him miss that shot often this season, and he's left that wide open. Meanwhile, McNeese coming off hitting their first 3-ball of the day. Lawson, there's a reason he stayed in the game with 2 fouls. He's got 10 points. Johnson gambles. Tried to pick it off. Ramey. Out to Febres. No.
Well,
the whistle on the back end.
That might be Lawson again.
And that is number 3 on Lawson.
Well, yeah, Jericho Sims did a very good job there of selling that, something that you want to do, especially at his size. So, Coach Schroyer playing against the odds and leaving Lawson on the floor. It's come back to bite McNeese.
Fresh 30 for Texas. Lawson has to watch Andrew Jones drop that. Jones has been fantastic off the bench. He's now got 7 points, and he has embraced that role as the 6th man.
Well, yeah, that's a big bonus for Texas when you can get someone of Jones's caliber coming off the bench and giving you buckets.
Cookshausen, he's been quiet. He could heat up very quickly with that one.
Yeah, and Coach Jackledge has got to be really upset. I just saw him lean back, clap his hands, and rub his mouth. He's upset because their defense, Texas, likes to guard people early, especially on Cookshausen. I guarantee you Coach Jackledge wanted a shutout tonight.
They don't even want to allow 3-point attempts.
Correct, exactly, and that's why he's upset.
Nice move by Jones. Too strong. Liddell among 2 Cowboys gets it to drop.
And that's where Texas can really excel. Other than Kennedy, this McNeese team, They don't have the length that Texas does, so Texas can dominate the boards, particularly on the offensive end. They can get a lot of second looks. So you've got to locate Cookshausen, as Coleman has done.
Deep three from Washington. Back to Coleman. Quick pass, eyes up to Andrew Jones, who finishes. Great awareness there to find Jones that quickly.
Well, and McNeese is not doing the best job of jamming the rebounder and or getting back. They're getting caught in between and having to pay dearly and giving up some run out.
The lead to Kennedy with authority.
Washington made a nice pass there. That's the pass he missed a couple of possessions ago when Kennedy wanted him to throw it over the top.
Here comes Cookshausen
with numbers.
Washington for three. Febris got there in time to at least get a hand close, but Washington unfazed, and the Cowboys heating up, doing what they do best, knock down that outside shot.
The antithesis of Yaklich deep.
Thanks. And there's Washington hitting one of those threes. Texas had done a great job to start this game, preventing McNeese from even attempting the three-point shot. Cowboys have hit three of their last four and have changed the complexion of this game.
Yeah, I mentioned that was the antithesis of what Yaklich teaches. I mean, Washington held that ball for what seemed to be 2 or 3 seconds. And Texas really emphasizes guarding people early. That certainly wasn't the case on that.
Sims strong with the rebound and put back.
Boy, that's the right thing to do, and how to attack that zone look like that they have, where they're almost in a matchup zone. Going to leave a lot of missed shots available on the offensive end for Texas.
Defender falls down, step back inside the Kennedy. Oh no! Going right at the freshman and winning.
Well, Kennedy is such an unassuming, quick leaper with long arms. Really get a lot done inside the paint and around the basket.
He put up 20 points at Wisconsin, 26 at New Mexico. So big environments, big programs. They do not faze Jamarcus Kennedy.
No, they don't faze him, and his team knows that, and they look to him to get stuff done around the basket. He is their floor leader, especially from an offensive perspective.
They were hounding Sims there. Sims, though, has had a nice spurt. Cowboys playing without their starting point guard for the moment. A.J. Lawson on the bench with 3 fouls. He had turned 10 in the first 12 points for the Cowboys, but they have responded with him going to the bench. Sims saves it to Jones.
Nice floor balance by McNeese, finding people.
Skip pass to Williams. Yes. He got dunked on, and then comes back with the 3 in the face of the Cowboys.
Boy, he's just such a natural scorer, Williams is. His release just looks great. It's quick. And he's also got incredible length, so you've got to guard him early on the offensive end.
Boy, now Brown loses the handle. Jones comes up with it. Turnover number 7 for McNeese. Here's Liddell. Williams is right there with them. Not enough. Williams did not score and only played 8 minutes in 2 games up in New York City.
Well, Williams has been spotty, particularly on the defensive end, sometimes giving up easy looks and or assignments.
Johnson fouled by Sims.
Well, these are huge minutes right now that McNeese is able to man the fort, especially without Lawson on the floor.
And also knowing that you're within 6, and Cookshausen, who's been your guy, the JUCO transfer so far, has only hit 1 shot. 3 points for him.
Yeah, and he's back on the floor, so that you literally have to guard him as soon as he steps into the front court.
Johnson handling the point with Lawson down. Good feed as Kennedy makes the move to the bucket.
Boy, having those 2 on the floor, Cookshausen and Kennedy, really makes it difficult for the defense because one is so good on the perimeter and shooting the ball. The other Kennedy can get a lot done in the paint.
Lindell trying to power inside. Back to Coleman.
Length of those arms on Kennedy.
Nice move baseline for Coleman. Williams loses it. Trey Johnson by his lonesome.
That's just nice defense. Texas, like McNeese, both teams have just done a very poor job of valuing the ball, particularly in the half-court situation.
Ramey dumps it to Sims.
Nice job by Ramey. Once the defense collapsed and helped Kennedy, there was no one to help the helper. Ended up with a nice pass there for the finish for Sims.
Sims with 6 points on the high percentage stuff. Kennedy, trying to rip down that rim. Take it back home as a souvenir. Kennedy has been electric.
Well, but neither team has rim protection, particularly when you get into screen and roll situations like that. Texas has got to get help on the backside when Kennedy is rolling down to the basket.
Let's just keep throwing it down. Let's have a dunk fest.
Well, literally, because all the bigs are lifted up near the free throw line. So as soon as these guards turn the corner, the big who rolls can finish all day long.
Kennedy wants it. Back on Sims, and Sims rejects it. To Williams for three. Kennedy could have affected that shot. Did a fantastic job getting out there with that length you were talking about.
Well, yeah, he really disrupts things, and he plays with such a poise. You don't realize the kind of impact that he's having on the game. You got to love Kennedy and what he does and how efficient he is as a player.
Up top to Brown, too easy for Roydell Brown.
Well, yeah, and Sims has got to pressure Kennedy a little more. Can't give up that easy pass.
We need some numbers, 1 through 10. Turn this into a dunk contest.
Yeah, they're playing their roles. Though they play a huge support role to these guys, namely Kennedy, Drew, Lawson. Lawson is, again, this is a bit of a breakout game for him. He started well and then has fallen off, but this is exactly they've been looking for from Lawson, minus the fouls.
And we've seen this from Texas early this season in non-conference play. As Will Baker checks in, nice wraparound pass to Ramey. They've struggled in the first half against teams, but have found a way to crank it up in the second. Coleman, pure. And Coleman hits for the first time from the field. He's 1 of 3.
Yeah, and McNeese was in a zone there. Nice patience by Texas. Texas has fallen in love with the 3-ball. Did a good job there of making the extra pass. You love that as a coach coming out of a timeout.
Cowboys shooting 50%. Did that go off Baker's hands? No. It's off the hands of Truman Moore. So Longhorns basketball.
I haven't seen a game in the recent past with such poor concentration when it comes to taking care of the ball.
Tryptophan, my friend.
Yeah.
Texas did practice Thanksgiving Day. It was a good, energetic workout. That's a nice save.
Yeah, and Baker's got to do a better job of holding the small off and going to catch the ball.
Mismatch there with the size as Washington was momentarily checked by Baker.
Yeah, you just can't allow a small to go around you that easily and take the ball. Good job by Baker moving feet.
Brown, high archer. Moore with the rebound. And it will stay with the Cowboys.
Well, that defensive rebound, that was created because Baker went out to help the small. He got caught on the backside. Moore did a good job of getting position. You saw to your screen, Baker gets caught.
So a quick breath for Shamarcus Kennedy. He's back on the court. Final minute and change. Cookshausen. And that's going to be offensive. As Andrew Jones sticking with Drew Cookshausen. So Cookshausen picks up foul number 2. He's been relatively held in check. He's only put up 1 3-pointer, made that. Coming into this game, 3rd nationally with 4.1 3-point makes per game. 4-point lead for the Longhorns. They're 2 of 13 from 3-point range. Liddell with a wide open one. Will pass it up for a better look into the paint. Sims fighting. We'll go to the Cowboys here. About 11-second difference. Washington in against the trees and draws the whistle. That goes against Gerald Liddell, number 1 for the sophomore from Cibolo, Texas. So Washington goes to the line for 2. .79% free throw shooter this season. This is the first. Liddell goes to the bench. Williams checks in. And with 34.8 before the break, the 2 and 5 McNeese Cowboys within 3. 4-second differential here. Here comes Febres with the screen. Back to Febres for 3. Drops it. First 3 ball for Febres. Washington glass and in. The bank open on this Saturday afternoon. They just find a way. The littlest guy. Kennedy has 10. Lawson has been an interesting story also with 10. Coach Schroyer played him with 2 fouls in the first half. Early in the first half, ended up picking up the 3rd foul. It was really when he went to the bench, though, that the other guys started to pick up their play. The X factor, though, correct me if I'm wrong here, Kennedy has shown the prowess to hang with the athletic bigs for Texas that other guys in this non-conference schedule have not shown.
Well, and you're spot on the money. Not only has he shown the ability to do that, he's also unafraid. I mean, he's not intimidated.
Point blank.
Well, that happens because there's no one helping the helper. Sims helps out. Someone has to drop down or drop inside of Kennedy.
And a great feed there and find by Lawson. Junior point guard transferred from North Texas. Coleman has been quiet scoring. Has 1 bucket in the first half. No turnovers for him, and he's done a good job with 6 assists. At this point in time, do you think Coleman needs to be looking for the shot more?
I think he's fine. I mean, again, I think I've talked about it before. Part of measurement of his success has to be how other guys are playing. And one statistic I love that he has is 2 statistics, is 6 assists with 0 turnovers in a game where the ball's getting turned over a lot.
Found a good spot there. Can't hit. And Coleman goes to 1 for 4 from the field. We'll stay with Texas as Ramey will inbound. Sims and Jones the leading scorer with 8 points. Jones was very good off the bench in the first half. Ramey uncontested, wide left. Liddell with the rebound. The size mismatch with Washington. Liddell, oh, he's hit hard by Kennedy. And Liddell will go to the line. 2 quick fouls here in the second half for Shamarcus Kennedy.
Well, and that's a good foul because you don't want to give up easy looks for Texas, especially as much as they're struggling from beyond the arc.
First free throw attempts of the afternoon for Liddell. Just a little hesitation before the release. His free throw shot.
And credit the foul to Kennedy. And it pays off because he doesn't give up the easy layup. Forces Liddell to the free throw line. He misses 2.
Kennedy with the rebound. So, to your point, smart foul there. There's Kutzhausen, number 0 in blue. A lone three-point field goal for him. Good hesitation. How did he get that to go? Mr. Bank shot taken on the bigs.
He got it because of Kutzhausen, believe it or not.
The Cowboys take the lead for the first time since the early moments of this game.
Kutzhausen, you have to stay with him. Washington recognizing that, so Coleman couldn't come off with him and help. He sliced right through the defense and got the nice finish.
Nice feed inside to Lawson. Kennedy found a beautiful ball movement.
Just a nice job. You've got to pressure the guy inserting the ball into the paint there. Had no pressure. We're right over the top of Ramey.
Cause for concern for Shaka Smart. McNeese with a 3-point lead. He calls the timeout.
It looks like they're in for a fight tonight, Lowell.
That's a great point with the body language. There is one team that is smiling, enjoying the moment, and another team walking that line in terms of finger pointing and some confusion with their production. The team that's feeling loose right now, certainly the Cowboys. On a 9-zip run, starting with Leandre Washington's banked 3 at the end of the first half. To Coleman, stop and pop, and it's a 1-point game.
And Coleman's done just such a beautiful job this year, not pressing. I mean, he hadn't been scoring a lot today. He's still poised, takes his time, and just knocks down the little short jump shot.
Kennedy rejected by Sims. Ramey with the drive, the dish, right. Point blank to Kai Jones. And Kai just was not ready for it. It was right there on top of him.
Yeah, and a little much on that ball. If I'm guarding Ramey, though, I'm McNeese, I'm spacing him. I'm forcing him to at least look at the 3 ball, where he's struggled, as you know, Lowell, most of the season.
So Trey Johnson has hustled over the team trainer. Looks like an issue with a cut on the leg of Johnson is being tended to. Texas with the trap.
He gets a foul.
And that goes against Kai Jones.
Well, that's huge. Let's see, does Texas stay in the press, though? Kai. Oh, I don't know. I think
Kai Jones was thinking jump ball.
Yeah, got a benefit there. Oh, they've got numbers. McNeese has numbers.
And that's going to be a travel call as Lawson got out of control and Coleman was there.
Boy, you could almost run those 2 plays, the last 2 in a split screen. It looked eerily similar in terms of the defender getting his hands on all ball. That time worked to Texas's favor.
Horns trying to take the lead back. Not get one for the field in the last 3 minutes and change.
Oh, great job coming off that screen.
Febres cannot catch.
With a little subtlety, but that's the way you turn the corner. I mean, you got Coleman going from the right side of the floor to the left. He's a lefty. Forced the whole defense to collapse and got Febres the kind of shot you'd like to get him.
Almost back to McNeese, but that save by Brown hit the baseline, so Texas basketball. A lot of minutes for Kai Jones. And cannot argue with that. Get out of my kitchen,
wow,
says Kennedy.
Wow, that look, Texas is with that recovery. And Kennedy, he gets off the floor quick, but the arms are just so long. It's great timing.
A different element that these non-power conference teams half. And Shamarcus Kennedy. Coleman, Ramey goes down, and Cowboys whistled for the foul.
Yeah, and I hope we can get into that a little bit later. These non-Power 5.
Oh, that's big. That's big. Hold on. That's Lawson's fourth, and we'll have to go to the bench.
No, that's bigger than big. It's huge, bigger than big.
Yes.
Yeah, that is huge, but it forces support to step up. Washington did a great job of it in the first half. Obviously, Kennedy stepped his game up. But these non-Power 5 schools have players too, and I'd like to get into that a little bit later, Lowell, because I mean we've seen it here early in college basketball. They're beating people left and right.
Ramey for three. Now he's dialed in. Ramey 1 for 4 from outside. Well, to your point, McNeese is from the Southland Conference. Stephen F. Austin is from the Southland Conference.
Yep.
The team that went up to Cameron Indoor earlier this week and took down the #1 Duke Blue Devils. Cuxhausen connects for the second time from distance.
Boy, this team, and Cuxhausen again, I know Coach Yaklich has got to be upset again.
Well, that ball's thrown away.
Boy, just another turnover.
And those are the careless plays, Lance, that you've pointed out. Turnovers now mounting, 10 of them in all for Texas. And it's the Cowboys trying to shock the Horns here in Austin.
Oh, who is that? You know, I was always a little taller than Joe, but I tell you what, we're talking about one of the all-time greats and classiest people to ever grace the court in the NBA. And my dearest friend on earth.
Greatest
Joe
player
Dumars.
in Cowboys history. His #4 retired. Rightfully so. Kennedy down low, 2 Longhorns on him, and he's going to go to the line.
Yeah, Joe just, I mean, he was amazing. I remember in high school I would watch him when I could. You didn't get a lot of those games, but you know, he was at McNeese and Karl Malone was at La Tech, and just you had so many great players at that time that came out of small schools, and that's the point you're making even about today. I mean, we see it even in the NBA now with guys like Steph Curry and went to Davidson. These schools, you know, just because the jersey doesn't say Texas or Baylor or Power 5, it doesn't mean they don't have great talent. Kennedy is showing that here today.
This young man can play.
Yes, he can play. Exactly. These guys can play. And Joe showed me that when I left Texas and got to the NBA. I mean, these guys are real guys in terms of their ability and what they could do at the highest level.
So a 3-point lead for the Cowboys. Kai Jones, uncontested, with a little authority as well.
Well, and yeah, there you saw, you go for the steal and he makes you pay. You've got to keep your man between you and the basket. That's why steals aren't always a good measurement of how good defense is or isn't.
Cuxhausen.
Late.
And he's hit on the play, no foul, but that was bombs away from deep. You've seen that on film, though. He can hit from out there.
Yeah, and he's allowed to take those shots. You're too late. If you're not guarding him before he catches the ball, you're late.
Jones for 3. Too strong. Sims gets all of Washington, and it's going to be a foul against Jericho Sims as he sent the little man, Leandre Washington, flying. Foul #3 for Sims.
Personally, I don't think that's necessarily a foul, but Washington sold it and forced the ref to make the call. That was a free rebound.
I don't know if he sold it as much as he went airborne.
He went airborne to get the referee to make a call. I'm telling you, Lowell, that's called a sell job.
Cuxhausen
Late.
trying to stay hot and not get the extra bounce. Tetris with the rebound. Cowboys playing without Lawson. Their starting point guard picked up foul #4 earlier here in this second half. Jones has had a solid night, fading away. Sims with the rebound to Febres for 3. And it's short. Jones ripping the ball free. Jones, 4-3. And Andrew Jones now into double digits, the first Longhorn of the day to do so.
And Texas is really falling in love with the three ball. It hasn't loaded well for them today, but they're staying with it and going with Shaka's point about being aggressive.
Chance to take the lead. The lob, Jones!
Well, what a great break. Ball barely was dribbled. Very difficult to stop a team when they're moving the ball that well.
Schroyer wants a timeout because the Longhorns have retaken the lead and have got the crowd back on their side with Jones to Jones of them.
You know, you always see him finishing around the rim, but you have to remember he also gets up and down the floor low quite well, especially at his size.
He had 6 points in 2 games in New York City. And that was the spark plug for him. Also opened the eyes of Shaka Smart and his coaching staff. He has gotten the opportunity and he's making the most of it. Washington had a good shake there and Kai Jones ends up with it. He can run the court too. And that's going to be offensive.
And I hope he's not discouraged after that play, because he can do that. You just want to get a little more under control, get at a maneuverable speed, which he isn't there. You had Jones wide open on the wing. But Lowell, he can be extremely dangerous because of what he just did, taking the ball the length of the floor. That's something the bigs previous to Jones who've been here have not been able to do.
Kennedy, the leading scorer for the Cowboys with 14.
Well, how about Jones guarding the little Washington? McNeese not looking at it as a mismatch. Typically, if this was next level, they try to do just that.
He's staying with them.
Yeah, the problem is he's in a
travel call.
He can't. How about those feet by Jones? I mean, he's guarding a guy that is almost half his height.
Listed at 6 foot.
Listed, key word. There's no way Washington is 6 feet. And I like the player. So when you see this on video, Mr. Washington, don't get upset at me, but I'm not buying that you're 6 feet tall. You get a lot done, though, for that small package that you possess.
Well, the 6'11" Kai Jones goes to the bench. Sims wide open. Coleman knew it. Pinpoint accuracy.
Yeah, and neither team has done a good job in pick and roll situations when bigs roll or when you need help from the weak side.
That's 8 assists, no turnovers for the junior point guard Matt Coleman and a 7-0 run to take the lead back.
Got another mismatch inside.
The Cowboys were feeling so loose and free out of that timeout. They tightened up a little bit. Kennedy with the left hand and gets it to drop with Jericho Sims there.
Yeah, he's got such long arms and he's so quick off the floor. He can just throw it up like that. Remember Dennis Rodman and a lot of rebounders in the NBA used to do that. Just put it on the backboard and you'll be able to get the rebounds.
Coleman, great vision there. Fevers cannot hit. That was a huge bucket, though, for Kennedy. Because it leads to this, Cookhausen. And he's just barking at Andrew Jones. Drew Cookhausen, the JUCO transfer out of Nebraska, feeling it.
Well, I guarantee you, if you sat down with Coach Yaklich, he is scheming inside.
Williams rattles it in. And we're tied off at 53.
Nice job by Williams staying poised. But you've got to be guarding Cookhausen right now. See, I think where Jones is too far away. You've got to be in him and discourage the pass to him.
That's all he's doing, hitting three-pointers.
He's an elite shooter with range.
Washington probing. Cookhausen was trying to get free. Washington will heave. There is still plenty of time on the shot clock. Washington starting to force it.
Nice hesitation move.
And Coleman's able to draw that whistle. unexpectedly got a really good one. Tied up at 53 here in Austin. Big reason why, the deep threes. Cookshausen, he's got 4 of them. 12 from 3 today. Texas, 5 of 22. McNeese has been a lot more patient in letting that outside shot come to them.
Well, I think that's the difference in the game offensively, in that McNeese is taking higher percentage shots, and Texas has just fallen in love with the 3-ball. They average about, Texas does, 22 threes per game, and they're at that mark with 10 minutes to go in the half.
Travel on Jericho Sims there. Turnover number 12 for the Longhorns. And early in this game, McNeese really attacked. They got most of their production up close around the bucket as A.J. Lawson has checked in with 4 fouls. And then the outside shot started to open up. Lawson had 10 of the first 12 points for the Cowboys before going to the bench in the first half. Cowboys will get it back. 17 on the shot clock.
You know, one of the other storylines of this game, beyond Lawson being in foul trouble most of the evening, I'll tell you what, his teammates have done a great job of holding things down when he hasn't been able to be on the floor because of those fouls.
And Kennedy has been the go-to guy offensively. Good battle all day. The moves on Jericho Sims.
Well, Kennedy's just too good to allow him that much space to work.
Febre's quick 3. Sims, the flush.
Wow. Boy, incredibly athletic. Kennedy's got to put a body on Sims. But look at the spacing there for McNeese, allowing Kennedy to post up.
Sims now with his second double-double of the season, and that is a carry call on Cookshausen. It has been a fun battle to watch between Kennedy and Sims.
Yeah, it has. Look at the space that he has, though, to work. Very patient. And Texas comes right back, and you see Kennedy gets caught looking. Sims does the right thing, what he should do all the time, just crash the boards.
Well, Jericho Sims finding some consistency that he lacked last season. He's now back-to-back 12-point performances. He also had 12 in the win against Cal up in New York. Coleman inside to Sims. Defender goes down. Offensive foul on Jericho Sims.
I like Sims when he can do things quickly, like just jump right away and dunk the ball. And when he's got to make a decision, he's a little too far from the basket. Remember, 2 or 3 plays ago, he got the ball almost in the same spot, and it resulted in a travel. He gets tripped up in his mind sometime when you've got to play through him offensively. He's got 4 fouls.
So the leading scorer for the Longhorns in this game to the bench with 4.
So both coaches will have to make tough decisions down the stretch with key players in foul trouble.
Lawson for 3. Bricked it. Royce Ham enters. Back to Coleman, who poses, rightfully so. Coleman with 7 points.
Nice shot there by Coleman. He's really improved his shot from a season ago.
There is no doubt he is the guy that makes this Texas team go.
Yeah, he's really good, and he has such an ability to impact the game without scoring.
Case in point, 8 assists, no turnovers.
That's right. That's huge. The level of efficiency that he's showing today, just impressive. And then watch this textbook follow through. I mean, that's just a beautiful looking shot.
I think we've asked the question multiple times in the past few seasons, who is the guy that you want the ball in his hands down the stretch? As Coleman is able to swat that one.
What a play.
And Coleman is the answer. Williams back to Jones for 3. Too short. Still a 3-point lead for the Longhorns.
Boy, Coleman did a great job. Looked like a defensive back, busting that up by the rim. He's really playing at both ends of the floor this season.
And checking Cookshausen. Baseline move. That's going to be a travel call on Kennedy. He does not agree. 3-point lead for the Longhorns with 7:35 left here in Austin.
College basketball on Longhorn Network is presented
on the glass and second chance points for the Longhorns. Jericho Sims a big part of that. He's 6 for 6 from the field with a double-double. However, he's on the bench with 4 fouls. A.J. Lawson starting point guard for the Cowboys, playing despite the fact he also has 4 fouls. Coleman with 7 points, 8 assists, no turnovers. Sims is the leading scorer, but Coleman has been the best all around for the Horns.
McNeese is in a zone here out of the timeout. Coach Schroyer, he's done a great job of managing this game.
Williams, corner 3, and it hits the side of the backboard.
And he's had guys in foul trouble. Texas has gone on runs, and he's, with 7 minutes to go, he's just down by 3 points on the road at Texas. That's just a really nice job of managing this game.
Good cut here. And it's going to end up in a walk. As Trey Johnson took too many steps. A really nice feed by Cookshausen.
Boy, and Johnson doesn't like the call, but travel or not, it looked weird.
Yeah, it was.
And if a play looks weird,
you're going to get the whistle?
You're going to get it, exactly. It's almost like I know what he was trying to do. Too many steps. Staying with this zone in a 1-2-2.
16 turnovers for the Cowboys. Andrew Jones once again, another nice performance off the bench. 6 on the shot clock. Jones to the paint with the lefty. And it ends up in the hands of Johnson.
Yeah, I expect McNeese to stay in this zone until Texas can figure it out. You can still run man plays and do man-to-man things just because a team goes into a zone. Doesn't mean you have to stop being aggressive and stop playing the game.
Lawson with the hesitation by Jones, up and almost in. Lawson will go to the line instead. A.J. Lawson, they were waiting for him to break out. Was pretty much the best player on this roster a season ago as he had to sit out in his transfer year from North Texas. It's been a slow start to this season. But this game, he has put it together despite playing in foul trouble. Next men's game you'll see right here on Longhorn Network will be Shaka and the Horns taking on UAB Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Time. Presented by Coors Light. Lance and I will be on the call as Lawson hits both. And oh boy, 5:54 left, and it's a 1-point edge for the Longhorns.
Certainly not what the Longhorns, I don't think we're expecting coming into this game, but McNeese is here to fight.
Coleman slicing, dicing, just dropping it in the cylinder. Back to a 3-point lead.
That you can't allow a team to walk down the middle of the lane, especially when you're in a zone. You're guarding an area, starting with protecting the basket.
Starting to embrace that role as the closer for this Texas team. Andrew Jones and Royce Ham both with defense. Coleman with some giddy up to Febres. Ugly shot back to Jones. And that's going to be offensive.
That's a charge. Texas sometimes gets just too aggressive, especially after offensive rebounds. It's almost as if they want to get 5 or 10-point plays. You want to start thinking about always getting a good shot at this point in the game, and also a little bit of clock management. You've got a lead. You against a team that won't go away. So you want to manage the clock and get great shots every trip down the floor.
How about hitting shots? When you have, I mean, we've seen two good shots. One hit the side of the backboard, and another, it was pretty ugly on an open shot from your best supposed three-point shooter.
Well, that's part of it. That's part of it, but you can't always control when the ball's going to go in and when it's not going to go in. And that's going to happen sometime where you have nights or days when the shots just aren't falling. What you can control is the type of shots you take them, when you take them in the shot clock or the management of the clock in the game. And that's a place I think where Texas can improve in terms of their game management.
Kennedy ice cold at the line as Ham picked up his third foul. He goes to the bench. Sims checks in, playing with 4 fouls. And it's a 1-point game. Kennedy perfect 4 for 4 from the field. He's got 20 points to lead all scores.
McNeese doing something most teams don't do well against Texas, and that's shoot free throws. A lot of coaches think it's the defense that sometimes carries over to the foul line, but McNeese shooting 83%. Only other team to shoot more than 70% was Georgetown.
Back-to-back game now for the Longhorns where they're simply not going to the free throw line. 7 attempts against Cal, 6 here against McNeese. As Ramey goes glass, to get it back up to 3.
Boy, that's a tough way to live in terms of the difficulty of that shot to be able to keep the lead, but a nice finish there.
Washington, and 1. How tall am I, he says, Lance Blank.
Well, I'm tall enough to know if I have an angle, I got to get my body into the guy guarding me and just get it up on the backboard. Look at there. As soon as he recognizes the contact, nice job. He cuts off the angle there by Coleman, gets the bump and puts it right up on the glass.
Coming off a 15-point performance and the loss against Richmond. Washington now with 13.
Talk about Coach Schroyer and how he's managed the game. How about Washington, who is an extension of the coach? He's done an exceptional job. This zone has given Texas a lot of trouble. Sims getting a break there. He might have elbowed him and pushed off a little bit.
Tied up with under 4 minutes to go. Can Texas hold on against McNeese? Which would have been number 5 on him.
Yeah, I thought Lawson has been pretty aggressive all night, or all day, I should say. That last one, Sims extended the arm.
Tied at 62. Coleman scoops it. Kennedy with the block. Williams gets it back, but offensive foul.
That's the exact play I'm talking about. You get a rebound off of a block instead of kicking it out. Nice block. And then you're trying to score right away. No need, young fella. But how about Washington? He's been in the right place all day long on both ends of the floor.
Had the huge bank three-pointer right before the half. Nice adjustment there over Coleman.
How about the aggression? That hard dribble with the stop made that look much easier than it really is. This zone has created some issues for Texas, Lowell.
Well, the outside shot has not been there, just 6 of 26. Ramey will try to shoot through it, and he does. Courtney Ramey now with 12 points.
Might be the biggest shot of the season for this young man.
And he has struggled with this shot, especially outside this year.
I mean, it's just turned into a counter-puncher's game. Almost as if who's going to have the ball last. Texas has gotten another beneficial call here down the stretch.
Offensive foul on the Cowboys.
It's because of the screen. Another point of emphasis with some of the rules changes this year, and that is the screeners have to get set.
Ramey to Jones. Febres open in the corner. Febres gets it. Back-to-back big threes by Ramey and Febres.
Excellent ball movement. I mean, it's just a different shot when you've got a little rhythm there. Jones knew exactly where he was going when he caught that.
The point we made about making shots, right?
That's right. You got to make them, but you also have to take
Sims. Sims a perfect 6-6 from the field. Put on a dunk show. And has his second double-double of the season.
Yeah, it's still a two-possession game, and I don't expect McNeese to go anywhere in spite of the 2 threes that Texas just made.
See if they can get Cookshausen loose. Their top three-point threat, number 3 in the nation with 4 made three-pointers a game. He's got 4 of them here in this one. Washington starting to dominate the ball, working on Sims, no foul. The rebound and putback by Roy Del Brown.
Boy, and Texas is so fortunate there. Looked like Sims had a little body-to-body there.
That's good to see for McNeese to get Brown going. Led the team last year in rebounding and scoring. It's been a slow start to the year for him. That gets him to 4 points in this game. Deep 3 from Jones. Off to the right as Johnson has the rebound.
And McNeese will take that. And here we are again, about to get themselves potentially back in this. Washington doing a great job coming off screens and just making plays either for himself or others.
Washington wants it. He's got it. Mr. Big Shot for McNeese.
Well, Texas is going to have to make a decision if they want to get the ball out of Washington's hands. Not only is he hot, he's making all the right decisions even when he's in driving situations.
Washington with 17. Jones, the response, and Texas takes the lead back. Andrew Jones embracing his role. Big makes. With Jones, Fedris, and Ramey accounting for those threes. 1:11 left.
Yep, there it is. Texas switches.
Cookshausen for 3. No. Kennedy the rebound. The putback. And we are tied up in 71 with 60 seconds left.
Boy, what a well-executed play by Coach Warrior. They got it in all the right places. Texas has to get a good shot here.
Kennedy off Coleman. He gets the corner. The kick to Fedris for the lead. No. Kennedy with the rebound.
Well, you know what's happening here. If they don't get a timeout, they're going to go to that high screen and roll.
Schroeder wants him to play.
Well, Washington and Kennedy, yeah, you don't want to give the defense a chance to set anything up.
8-second differential here.
Yeah, but watch for Cookshausen if the defense collapses here.
5 on the clock. Cookshausen forces it. Ramey with the rebound. And a whistle. And the whistle,
wow,
will stop it with 8.4.
Well, where's the...
So it looks like the foul is on Cookshausen.
Would he take it? The answer would be, of course. It's a nice defensive... I mean, it's actually the exact play you had to make if someone else wasn't going to get the shot, because you've got to foul them anyway.
Ramey gets the front end of the 1-and-1.
That's big for this young man. He makes this one. This will help his confidence. His struggles from beyond the arc.
Gets them both. Wow. No timeouts left for McNeese, but Texas wants to take a timeout.
Yeah, and
for the final 8.4.
And Lo, I mentioned his struggles from beyond the... Or Kennedy rolling to the basket. I tell you what, I'm not going to let Kennedy or Cookshausen beat me. It's got to be one of the other 3 guys.
Washington brings it up for 3 with time still left. Doesn't get the roll. Sims with the rebound. And Texas holds on.
Wow. What a gutty performance and a big shot. I guess